and welcome to the CPTC live stream. We are at the Glenview Club at the Legends Finals tonight. I'm Mike Raleigh, joined with Matt Wurzel, the managing partner from Viking Athletics, who is one of our primary sponsors of this event. Matt, welcome.
Mike, nice to be joining here tonight. Excited to watch some great paddle and the culmination of the league here.
Yeah, we've got we're live streaming I guess the Court 1 match on our far side. The handsome man in all black there with the hat on is Mitch Granger, playing out of the deuce side there, and his partner Andrew Ong is hitting the two-handed backhand with the best hair and paddle. On our left-hand side at the net, who just hit the roller into the net with the black or grayish-black stocking cap and all black, is Alex Lambropoulos, and his partner on the right-hand side with the gray cap on, white top, Peter Burka from Sunset Ridge Country Club. We got a great match coming up here, Matt. There's some, there's no strangers out there. Alex and Mitch Granger have played two seasons together. They are not playing this year. Peter Burka, he's like the old shoe that fits well, performs well. The guy doesn't age. And Andrew Ong.
Should we go with the ageless wonder here?
Well, I didn't like to bring up the age.
Here?
I don't like to bring up age, but he is the veteran of the group. And Andrew Ong probably plays more tournaments than anybody out there this year. Maybe he and Salazar, but we're in for a good match. I'm excited.
I was going to say, I love watching both of them too. They're just such great partners as well. They're able to play with just about anybody, so it should be exciting. And like you were saying, Mike, too, Granger and Lambropoulos played for years together as well, so they certainly know each other's game. And it, four legends, it's appropriately named here. Four legends in Chicago going after it tonight.
Yeah, and you bring up the Legends Tour. This is kind of they hold a draft night at the beginning of the year, and the whole thing is trying to showcase the talent that is at that is Chicago platform tennis. And this is a bit of a traveling road show where since October they've kind of held weekly matches, and whether it's been part of this playoff series or not, they've done 8 weeks of playoffs. And the team that came out, I believe Andrew Ong's team, Team Ong, as they're referred to, won the league, and then Team Lambropoulos came in second. And this is the culmination of all their hard work. And I understand that Viking Athletics has been a proud sponsor of this event. And for that, we can thank you, Matt and Viking.
No. Absolutely, we're happy to be a part of this. Obviously, listen, Chicago, it's near and dear to me. I lived there for about 10 years after school, and it's one of the most dense populations of paddle players all over the country. So we love to sponsor this, and I know this is our second year doing it, and we're hoping this is year 2 of a long-term partnership, and always nice to see some new great players coming and being a part of this league. And I think like you said, Mikey, the traveling road show there, it's it's a great concept that these guys did this year to highlight some of the talent. There's newer programs across the North Shore, the western suburbs as well of Chicago, and it's great to get these guys out to the clubs where they might not have Series 1 teams or Series 2 teams at some of these clubs. So it's great to highlight some of the talent that we've got in Chicago here. Great point.
And speaking of talent, I can go through. We're playing 2 out of 3 sets, regular scoring, but we're also playing 3 courts tonight, or 3 lines, as they say out east. And it's we've got some great talent, but we've only got limited streamability, so we had to go with our Court 1, but on Court 2 we've got Ben McKnight, McKnight and Wotring versus Steinman and Kreitzler. And then Paul Rose and playing against Brad Smith. And, well, else I can't see that far. But my old eyes, they're all the way over on that third court. Ben Williams and, sorry, it'll come to me when I can get. No, it's not Schumacher. That was Team Schumacher. Was one of the captains. Is not playing because he was in third place finish. And you know, Ricky Bobby would say, Cal, if you're not first, you're last, and if you're third, you're definitely not even first loser. But it looks like we're getting ready here. You got any pre-match
Mike,
predictions?
As you run through this list of all the guys playing on the courts, I could rack up a lot of personal losses, across these three courts to each of these players. So it should be exciting to watch. I've got to go. It's tough here because it should be a good match, but I think I got to support Vikings guy Mitch Granger here. So I'm gonna go Mitch and Andrew. I'm going to go 2 tight sets here. That's my prediction.
Well, I packed a lunch because, if anybody's seen Andrew Long play, he's an extremely patient, great player, but boy, does he wait for the right opportunities. And Peter Burke is kind of cut from the same cloth. They'll be out there. They're willing to stand out there all day long. Andrew Long's got great offense off the back screen, a good two-hander. Mitch Granger, huge forehand, loves to roam on the net. He's got kind of 6'3", he's got a 14-foot wingspan. Alex Lambropoulos is one of the fastest guys with offense off both sides. Loves to short hop that two-hander. Looks like Andrew Long is about to serve, so we are on.
Let's dig in.
And I'd expect here, Matt, that we get, it's not like these guys need to feel each other out in the sense that they've never played before against each other. So it's more about each player and team kind of settling into the match, not necessarily playing to figure out how they're going to play each other.
I completely agree with what you're saying there with packing a lunch. I think there's an awesome balance on both sides here too, with a very, very steady, consistent player, and then there's some offensive weapons sprinkled in there too. So we should be in for a good one here.
I think we see an early strategy. We're going to avoid that Mitch Granger forehand at pretty much all cost, and a lot of softballs into Andrew Long's forehand. I mean, I'm no pro, but it makes sense to me. And I wish we had, Matt, a step tracker both on Alex Lambropoulos and Peter Burke, because I would be willing to bet that Alex will take 3 times the amount of steps. Well, first point.
Peter's got that wisdom, that years of experience there. So he knows exactly where to be. He knows exactly where the ball's going to go, and that's the benefit that comes with playing this sport for decades.
Economy of motion. With Ong and Granger at the net, you'll also see kind of the hot spots they're trying to avoid. They don't want to put the ball short to Alex's backhand, that he can step up into the court and give it a good whooping. Great cut overhead from Andrew Ong.
What a cut from Andrew there. That was an awesome shot. Yeah, Alex Lambropoulos, he's so dangerous too. If you don't have your eyes on him at all times, he'll step in, sneak in, and snap that backhand off real quick. So
good drive.
That's definitely one of the spots you got to avoid there.
Oh, I'd love to hear the. Too bad they weren't all mic'd up, because I'd love to hear that chatter between the team.
I was gonna say, these are a couple of. I think these are a couple of things we think about next year too. Get a couple players mic'd up, and maybe a step counter just for some fun highlights that we mix in here.
You have to have it like a 10-second delay potentially.
Well, that's if me and you were on the court. I think with these guys, they're all respectable gentlemen here, and we might be able to just keep minimize that to 5 seconds.
Oh, little shooter's roll.
What are we looking at here weather-wise tonight, Mike? Is it prime paddle conditions here for these guys?
Yeah, we're at about 40 degrees. There's that backhand we talked about. It's, yeah, 40 degrees, perfect paddle weather. Wow.
Wow.
And there's the first game goes to Lambropoulos Burka with the break. And that's something, too, that I think they really got to respect is Andrew Ong's ability to shake things up and blitz. You know, and it's not that he's lobbing short and just rushing the net. That's something I've still got an R&D at Exmoor that I'm working on is, you know, how to get him to lob short and then just blitz. But he actually does it at the right time. It's where he'll hit a great lob and blitz in, or we should expect to see the blitz coming in off of Mitch's when and if Mitch gets a look at a forehand. You'll see him shaking and baking and moving in to pounce on some of those lift volleys that they have to make.
Yeah, I think we should see. There's a bunch of active players. I know Alex is not afraid to blitz either, and make some moves there too. So, you know, that's definitely something we can look to see over the next couple sets here.
And I think that's the lob. I want to see a little bit more lobs from Andrew. He's got to be making sure that's got to be kind of number 1 or 2 on the playlist. Is getting Peter Burka lobbing down the line right now in this lineup to get Peter Burka hitting that overhead. That way it brings more balls into Mitch's side.
Yeah, absolutely. Andrew could set up some good lobs down the line here, pull some of those balls through the middle of the court, let Mitch sneak over and snap off a couple of forehands, and that's the game plan I would go with if I was out there.
Boy, Alex just painted the line with that overhead. He missed that one. And I think that's respect for that two-handed backhand of Ong's, that if he misses a little bit short and into the belly of the court, he'll be bringing the thunder with that two-hander.
I got to say, Mikey, this is only my probably my second time on the stream here, and this game just looks so much easier from the stream than it does on the court.
Well, you know, we are Sunday armchair quarterbacks here.
Yeah, absolutely. No, it's like, oh, why wouldn't we just set, Andrew have a perfect lob down the line, set Mitch's forehand up nice and easy, and then when you're actually out there trying to make that happen, it's a completely different story.
Here we see the range of Lambropoulos. He's not as quick as his mother, Patty, but I think she's taught him everything she knows.
Great resets.
She's got a new knee, so now she's back after a knee replacement surgery last year.
I got it.
You know, in the course of now, what are we into this match by just a game and a half, really? How many forehands has Peter and Alex given Mitch through the other than the service return that he's hit 2? Have you seen him hit a forehand yet?
I was gonna say I think he snuck one in there, and that's one of those ones where you throw one in there, you see that, and you say time to avoid that. Well, that was a nice sneaky shot by Andrew.
But there's some pretty clear strategery going on there. If you heard that, those at home watching on the live stream, I think Peter and Alex are definitely calling where he's hitting the ball and where he's serving to Mitch Granger, and really potentially what's Peter Burke doing off of that serve. It's kind of like a pitcher and a catcher relationship where they're calling for the pitch location and really being able to anticipate what's coming next. Back to
That's
deuce.
a rare Andrew Ong miss there. We could probably count on one hand tonight how many unforced errors he's going to make. So
I think we can write those off as maybe it's just kind of getting his bearings. You know, just kind of
working your way into the match here.
dialing things in. Do you see why they're not hitting a lot of balls to Granger's forehand?
That's the no-go spot.
See, and I like that little roll, even though, you know, it's more of a probing drive off the back screen from Ong. In a lot of respects, what he's looking to do is to try to get Peter or Alex to volley the ball, you know, short to Mitch's forehand. It's tougher to avoid that forehand on a volley than it is off of an overhead. So it kind of puts a little more pressure on the volley.
Love that move by Mitch there, taking the net, sneaking in on a shorter overhead there.
That thing
That thing was moving.
Yeah, it almost changed the rotation of the earth. There was so much spin. I felt the gravity kind of went off a little bit. Lights flickered.
All right, we got 1-1 here. They said first game's always the hardest, so both teams settled in here and ready to go.
Oh, that's an eye right there, Mr. Granger. Got to be careful with that waterfall. You know, Matt, one of the great things I love about platform tennis is it's such a chess match. You know, you can just see kind of they're making these moves and hitting specific shots to specific spots to create a desired outcome. You know, and it's not necessarily, wow.
Oh, there it is, the quick flash of hands.
Holy smokes. Not only quick flash of hands, but the touch of God. He dropped that thing like a wet washcloth falling to the tile floor. Good pressure
I was
from
going to
the
say,
blitz.
back to what you were saying there about, the strategy. It's like you always got to be thinking 3-4 shots ahead. You know, it's these subtle movements where you're hitting these shots to try to get some court positioning, move players around, get them in the spots where, they become a little bit more vulnerable. Like you said, setting up some of those weapons on the court. And, is it going to take 3 shots? Is it going to take 10 shots? Is it going to take 20 shots? You never know, point in and point out. And after a while, it becomes a test of will and, an exercise in mental toughness here. So.
So now we have Ong and Granger. Broke back and then held. They consolidated that break. And I think, you'll expect
officially up a hold.
There we go. I think we expect here Peter Burke will be what I call a fastball pitcher. He'll hit the ball relatively flat. And like we saw there, he already hit the ball right into the nick.
The rarely seen ace in paddle.
It's a great get.
Great get by Mitch.
Had not retreated yet. He was in the right spot at the right time. Or wrong spot at the right time, depending on how you look at it. And here we go. We're right back to a neutral point.
Great close in there by Alex. Anticipated the drive, closed right on top of the net, and gave himself a nice easy volley there.
Yeah, let's do what we said.
At the top of the broadcast, I talked about, or are we calling it a stream? What are we calling it? We can call it whatever we want, huh? Okay. We had talked about Mitch's range at the net. He's got great range, but I'd love to watch Lambropoulos too. I mean, he is a water bug just zipping around at the net. His range is pretty solid as well. What do you think? Lacks in reach.
These are some of Exmoor's finest here, right, Mikey? These are your proteges.
They were. Alex has left the nest, unfortunately, but it's fun to see these guys get better and better. But I think the league in Chicago is a good time to just talk about the league in general. It's, I think we're not including the Southwest leagues on the men's side. We're at 39 series, which is just amazing. The hard work of Alan Graham, Bill O'Brien, John Noble has been, they're seeing 10% growth annually at a minimum. And, and then you throw in the Southwest leagues and the women's side. I think there's 16 levels now of women playing on the North Shore. And I think I'm not sure about the Southwest, but, it's just the Monday night women's league is up to the K level. So they start at A and go all the way to K. think that's, I can't do the math, but that's a heck of a lot of levels. So it's things are rocking at Chicago Paddle.
No, I'm glad you bring that up, Mike, too. Is, Alan Graham, John Noble, all the work that they're doing, behind the scenes too. It's like they don't often, get recognized for that growth. I remember, and you've obviously been in the scene a lot longer than I have, but about 10 years ago when I had moved to Chicago, I was coming from Long Island, and there was about 5, maybe 6 flights, and I came to Chicago, and there was 20 something series, and it was just absolutely incredible, the growth of the sport. And now you see it, fast forward another decade, and up to, like you said, 39 series plus Western leagues plus Monday night working women's leagues. It's absolutely incredible. How fast this sport has grown over the last few years, and we're just excited to see what the future holds here too.
Yeah, and it's not only quick growth, but it's sustained growth. That's the amazing thing is how that 10% has been well over a decade where they've seen the growth. And you mentioned I've been around the game a year or two earlier than you, but when I started, I think it was double A, and B. Maybe there might have been 4 levels. So it's quite.
That was, like you said, just about 12 years ago instead of 10 years ago. So. And it's not just the leagues and the series growth; it's the amount of events that are being driven too through through the CPTC as well. There's more. It seems like there's more and more every single year, and it's just the charities. I was just out there for charities this year, and it's just they always put together an absolutely phenomenal event. Everybody who's coming into town, all the outsiders feel welcome. Everybody who's fortunate enough to live in Chicago, where it's right in their backyard, just a great display of paddle too. So.
Peter will want that one back. Kind of look at that. Feel like that shouldn't. He missed a professional miss though. He did miss it long. .30-15, 2-all. The Legends final here at Glenview Club in Gulf, Illinois. We're on the CPTC live stream.
Mike, I heard you reference something too, these little probing lobs or, probing drives too. That's just something I've seen, entering the sport a lot more over the last few years. It always used to be those, mile high Denver lobs out there. But, what that's always given people is time to just really wind up and absolutely uncork on some of these shots where these probing lobs or, the short, it's almost like a push drive to some extent. There's not a whole lot you can do because you just don't have a ton of time to react and really load up on it. So it's it's definitely an effective shot.
Yeah, you see, like that block lob that Andrew Long hits.
That's that Mitch Granger forehand that we're talking about there.
I loved how he slid to the middle of the court and got his toes up on the baseline. I've been telling him years, he's got to play that. He's got to play up on the net. It just, he's stealing time and distance from his opponents, and it's, that drive is so big, but it makes it so much bigger if he's just that 1/2 step up closer to the baseline. But back to the Back
Nobody
to that.
saw that one.
Yeah, nobody saw that one. Cal, don't give us a replay on that, okay? Maybe that's a new thing we could do is replay all of the worst unforced errors. You know, you do as I don't do. What do you think? Maybe? No.
Yeah,
We'll leave that in
go with
R&D.
it. Yeah, we'll put that one on the R&D along with the step counter and whatever we were talking about earlier. There's one other idea that we had.
They were mic'd up?
Mic'd up. There we go. Mic'd up, yeah. If we got a mic'd up and a replay of that shot, we might have heard a couple things we didn't want to hear.
But that block lob that you know, not only that probing drive, but, you know, you'll see a lot of, oh, love that drop shot.
I go. Hey, you're good. Got it.
We will get back to the probing lob at some point, I promise.
Yep. It's too dynamic of a point here. And you'll see Burko use that block lob too, but I think one of the strategies with it is, like you said, it takes time away from the opponents at the net, whether they're in transition. Oh, that's a great overhead. I think that's
Nice.
a former partner thing. Mitch actually happened to know that it was coming, and here's that replay. And you see, you know, Alex has taken a calculated risk to make that move, to step up, and if it's short, he's going to jam it right back at him. He just got kind of caught with his hand in the cookie jar that time.
It's a spot, too, where I think, you know, and like you said, like, you know, knowing your partner there, it's a spot where I think a lot of people moving backwards do try to get that one to a side screen as they're backpedaling a little bit. Mitch, knowing that Alex has that absolutely dangerous snap backhand there, probably knows he's coming up there. He kept that ball a little bit more towards the middle of the ad side there, and all of a sudden that shot gets taken. It makes it a lot more difficult for Alex there.
Yeah, and he can't extend on it. And I think that's one of the things when, I mean, players, especially players with that two-handed, they love to kind of have a little bit more, you know, width on the shot, where they're able to extend on it. Filthy roller. Anytime you get Peter
That's trouble.
Burke to miss a screen, you know you've hit a good overhead.
It was.
That's another statistic you can count on one hand. How many screens Peter will miss? You know, probably over the course of a season. So.
Yeah. Trouble. Oh, I like that.
Here.
You know, and I like Alex going for that one. It's, you know, he's people say, well, you missed an overhead, but I can't make him feel better about that one. But that missed overhead, you know, he was going for a winner.
Couple of points now, a little opening for Granger and Ong to separate themselves here. You know, Mike, that's something you talked about with the server and the server's partner giving each other signals, like the pitcher and the catcher. You know, we're starting to see it more and more with the returners, you know, talking to their partners. Are they going to hit down the line? Are they going to go cross court here? You know, prior to that return, I saw Mitch and Andrew talking to each other there, talking about, you know, what the play is going to be. And you, like you said, or like we were talking about earlier too, chess game. They're not just thinking about the one shot that they're going to hit, the serve and the return. They're thinking serve, return, what my partner's going to do. And, you know, you're thinking 3-4 shots into the point here.
And it's not only as a returner, it's, location of the return, but also, we haven't seen it a lot yet, but that returner's partner blitzing off of that return, that's another one that I think you've played enough with Mike Marino, and I have too, that, that kind of planned blitz and, or the fake blitz and drive down the line, or, boy, there is.
That's the move.
It's textbook.
Nice work.
You see Mitch's forehand getting a little bit more into the play, and I really think that'll be the differentiator in this match is, can Peter and Alex avoid the Granger over forehand?
It just allows Andrew to be a lot more, aggressive in his positioning, pick off a lot more balls. And like we saw in that point, like you said, blitzing. And, after a while, the constant pressure on a team of feeling like they have to hit certain parts of the court, that's the stuff that wears you down. And it draws out a couple of those errors from your opponent. So even though you may, not have gotten the result you wanted on a given point, if you're constantly putting that pressure, it nets you some points down the road.
Yeah, it's like death by 1,000 cuts. The threat of that drive. Ooh, careful. The threat of that drive in that, constant stress that they're overhitting every overhead and every volley to avoid it. It takes its toll. Now, right there, I'd love to see Mitch, when he crosses, keep the ball in front of the cross. You see how open the court was? When he crossed and volleyed back to Alex, it left the drive down the line. Oh, boy.
That's a good idea.
Yeah, the one where I went over the volley. Yeah.
I think that's what they're talking about here too. Is that exactly what they were talking about after that point? We caught a snippet of it there.
I'm not going to, they might have. This door is cracked open just a little bit. They might have heard us talking, so. Boy, that's a great play by Burka.
Oh, yeah. I just love watching from the stream, especially, those watching at home that, might not be playing at the Legends level per se. You see how much these guys are winding up and getting their entire bodies into, the overheads and the spin that's being put on the ball. I think there's always a lot of people at home that are like, yeah, these guys are going to just swing and, throw their arms out. But, when you see Mitch hit some of these overheads, you're just seeing his whole body, his legs, his hips all rotate into the swing. And, that's what these guys are doing on all of these big, heavy spinning overheads.
Yeah, and mechanically, they're pretty right, pretty correct. And it takes us to one of our sponsors, Illinois Bone and Joint, that if, you're struggling with any issues related to your paddle game, I mean, who are you going to call? I would call Illinois Bone and Joint. Great move from Alex Lambropoulos there. Steps over, unties Andrew Ong's shoe with that one. Thank you very much.
Thank them for coming out.
It's a great probing drive from Lambropoulos that forced it. It's like Andrew Ong, it was almost too easy of a volley. Just got a little saucy with it. Good volley. Doink. Oh.
That's
Wow.
a great pickup by Petey there.
40-15, 15-40 here. Double break point. Oh, Mitch was reading Alex's mail there. Stepped up, stuffed the turkey. See, this is a crucial point in the set right here. Burka and Lambropoulos do not want to let this get too far away from them.
To say 2 chances to keep this one within striking distance here. You gotta convert one of these.
Mitch, I don't like him stepping
Played
over
a
there.
great game to get there too.
Wow.
My God.
I got it. Switch.
You see how many of these lobs that Andrew's just blocking back. And again, you notice that the majority of the overheads these guys are hitting are within 1 step either way of the service line. And, you know, for all the players watching at home, they're not lobbing to get it over their heads. They're lobbing to set up the drive opportunities.
This is one of those points that test the mental toughness, you know, from Lambropoulos and Burka's side. You know, you played a great point to take the net. There's probably some points where you feel like, I could have won the point off that shot. And now we're back into a very neutral position here, and both teams are looking to set up a weapon and keep away from the strengths of the other team.
Yeah, nobody's panicked, too, that they lost the net. You know, I mean, for Ong and Granger, it's like, okay, well, we can dance this to this tune in the backcourt. We don't have to be at the net. And I think, you know, that's a way that the game has changed dramatically, that it's a 50-50 proposition at the highest levels. Whether you're at the baseline or the net, you know, your chances of winning the point.
I was gonna say, I think I had just come into the sport when, you know, the two-handed backhand was really starting to become a weapon in it. I think once that started happening, there wasn't any safe spots to really hit because there was offense everywhere in the backcourt, and you know, from the net perspective, it wasn't necessarily being in an offensive position. There were times, like you were saying, Mikey, where 50-50, you feel just as confident winning points from the backcourt as you do at the net. Or I think the old mantra was always, you have to have the net in order to win the point.
Yeah. And I think now you'll see, too, the best players, they'll bail, you know, rather than like a 50-50 volley where I've got a 50% chance of making it, or, you know, any borderline. They'll let it go through and just give up the net, restart the point in the backcourt. And it's
so calculated too. You know, I've I've sat down at some of the lunches with a lot of these players, and they're always talking strategy, whether they're on the court, whether they're off the court. It's just figuring out how to put yourself in that position where you got the numbers in your favor, and hitting the shots that you feel most comfortable with, rather than trying something that is out of your comfort zone. And, I know that's just been, again, everything goes back to that analytics, that putting yourself in the right spots. That was a great game for Burka and Lambo to win there. Keep it 4-3 and keep this a tight set here.
Now, see if they can consolidate that break. Come back and tie it up at 4-all.
Yours, yep.
And I think in the first 7 games, we've seen Alex has missed 2 screens in the backcourt. Alex Abropoulos on that ad side there. And both of the screens were not balls that were spun. They were kind of the change-up balls where Andrew Unger, I don't know who hit both of them, but where they flattened the ball out and took the pace off of it. And I think that's a, oh, Mitch got caught with his hand in the cookie jar there.
Good set of hands.
Yeah. But, it's I think we all love the spin, love to hit the spin, but boy, that change of pace and spin, either adding more spin or taking it off, is just as effective, sometimes more effective.
It's just awesome to see, the parallels in the sports too. We talk about, the pitchers and the catchers giving each other signs, and it's the same thing. When you're on the deuce side there as a righty, controlling a bunch of the overheads there, you're a pitcher hitting overheads into the ad screens there. You're trying to hit some of them hard, some of them soft. You're trying to move that guy in the ad side around a little bit, and ultimately get the ball that you're really looking for to attack. So, like you said, there's going to be spins, there's going to be fastballs, there's going to be some changeups mixed in there, and that's what makes somebody hitting an overhead so effective. After you see the same amount of spin over and over and over again, you eventually get used to seeing that type of spin. But somebody who can hit a spinner, hit the hard ball, hit the softball, and there, change up their locations, change up their paces. That's just, those are the toughest players to play against, I feel, because you're always on your toes in that spot, wondering what's going to come at you.
Couldn't agree more. To go further on that, you look at the shifts, and they talk about the shifts in baseball, the shifts that happen on the paddle court, based on, well, did I just hit a good lob? Am I shifting into my offensive position? Or, did the ball swing to the opposite corner? You'll see the team at the net. They'll make that big shift as well. Kind of that zone defense idea that it's, I really think that when you say analytics, it's experience, but it's also, they know that if they give this, Cal, we got to see that again.
We got to get a replay on that one. Get Cal going there.
Yes. Daddy's home. That was insane.
Yours.
Wow. I think that thing's illegal in 12 states. I'm not sure, but. In the evolution of the game, you see so many more cut winners like Alex Lambropoulos hit there, where, I hate to say in the olden days, the ability for the overheader, and I don't know if it was the ball, but you could finish balls into the corner, the ad screen as a righty. You could get the ball to lay down, it hit the side screen, and just dump. But now it's like the true winners, and there's very few, but are of the cut variety in the short portion of the court. All right, we got Ong and Granger up a break point, 30-40 here.
Crucial point here.
Boy, it's some good spin that caught Granger a little bit off guard there. Just missed that
a
lob long.
little extra jump there right before contact.
Probably be better served to let that ball go to the screen and let Andrew Ong let it kick sideways to Andrew. Takes a good portion of the spin off. God, that's a big forehand.
Big forehand, big point too. So good time for it. You know, it's refreshing to go and watch Petey Burka hit overheads too. You know, we always talk about the spin and how much spin has come into the game, but you know, like we were saying earlier, Mike, the effective overhead player, it's about mixing it up, mixing up the spots, mixing up the locations, and you know, you watch Burka and the sequence of overheads he hits. He's hitting some at the player in the ad side. He's hitting some off the back screen. He's hitting some off the side screen. It's you know, just a very, very difficult player to play against when he's controlling the net. But also, again, not with a ton of spin on the ball. Very, very flat, both the serve and the overhead.
Yeah, and he varies, you know, and I think something that needs to be pointed out too is the location and namely depth. I mean, he does such a good job of hitting that ball relatively flat, you know, relative to the other top players on the court. But, I mean, his location, his spots are fantastic. There's our break. Andrew Ong serving for the first set.
I remember when I was first getting into paddle, Peter Burka, it was actually on this court. The first time I saw him and Drew Eberle play together, I had never really seen paddle at a super high level before, and that was something special to watch. I think it was Burka and Eberle against maybe Banchila and Midgall, and it was just an absolute clinic.
Well, and that's the beauty of this CPTC live stream. You can now do it from the comfort of your own home on a 65-inch smart TV. You can do it on your laptop. You can do it on your phone. It can travel from your basement to the attic. I mean, from the kitchen to the bathroom to the bedroom. You know what? We're everywhere. If you want, we're here for you. And if you don't catch it live, it's available to you 24/7. I mean, how good is this? And you can even mute us. I mean, that's even better. That's what I find just
that might be the best. That might be the biggest win from all the things that you were saying there right now. Not having to listen to me and you ramble about these four players. And our skewed philosophies about the sport and how great we are from the commentary booth.
Well, the great thing is it's a philosophy, and everybody can have their own ideals and philosophies, and that's a great overhead. Takes us to the first
That'll do it for the first set.
I think we're going to have we're going to be turning it over for a quick video here. We'll be back after these short break.
From the heart of Chicago up to the North Shore and stretching from the northwest suburbs down to Kankakee. From urgent in-office care to virtual in-home visits, we're making orthopedic care available wherever and however you need it. Because while we're adapting our lives to keep each other safe, we know that new injuries will happen and old injuries will still linger. And IBJI is here to help.
Not your bank's top priority? Here at Wintrust, we take a different approach to banking. No hidden fees or runarounds, but a true banking partner focused on your unique financial goals. Whether you're opening your first account, found your dream home, planning for the future, or starting a business, we have the financial solutions to get you there. Stop settling and start experiencing a better way to bank. Wintrust. Different approach, better results.
They try to do it.
Hi everyone, my name is Faith. I'm an athletic trainer for Illinois Bone and Joint Institute. Today we're going to talk about ACL injuries and how it relates to paddle. I'm sure everyone's heard of the ACL, but in case you don't know what that stands for, ACL is the anterior cruciate ligament. It's a huge stabilizer in your knee. Essentially, it keeps your knee, so your shin bone, your tibia, from pulling anteriorly, so forward on your thigh bone, your femur, and it keeps you stable when doing dynamic activities. This can get torn from a couple different mechanisms. So one being quick and aggressive deceleration, knee hyperextension, or a plant and twist or valgus, letting your knee cave inwards towards your midline mechanism.
All right, welcome back to the CPTC live stream. I'm Mike Raleigh along with Maddie Warzel. We are at the Legends Final at the Glenview Club. Beautiful night, about 40 degrees. Andrew Wong and Mitch Granger just won the first set over Peter Burka and Alex Lambropoulos 6-3. Been a great first set. And just Matt, you got any thoughts here on this, on the first set, moving into the second?
Yeah, great first set. I think, like we said, the couple weapons on the court. Mitch Granger's forehand that was very he was very effective throughout the entire first set. Gave Andrew a couple opportunities to go and blitz. Alex Lambropoulos, looking to get that backhand active. So, like we said, it was a fairly tight set. 6-3 could have probably gone in either direction with a few games here and there. But I think I'm halfway there to my initial match prediction with Ong and Granger in two tight sets.
Well, we're coming up on a little bit. The first set took almost an hour. I still have my dinner packed, so I'm ready for another 2 hours tonight. Oh.
Did he get him?
Oh, he hit his sweatshirt. The ball kind of fluttered. Little matrix move from Andrew Ong there. Yeah, we've got a great night here. It's about, 39, 40 degrees at the beautiful Glenview Club.
I tell you what, did that for an hour with them.
It's a little frustration there from Mr. Lambropoulos, but we've all been there.
I think that's what we're going to see here, Mike. I know you talked about packing the lunch pail there. But I think the strategy for Burka and Lambo going into the second set, slow things down a little bit. See if Granger and Ong are going to press the action a little bit too, because Petey with all the experience out there, he's not afraid to stay out there and grind for a little bit. So maybe Granger and Ong try to push it to the finish line a little bit faster, make a couple of errors, and see if they can squeeze out the second set.
And I think it's important that that Burka and Lambo, I'd love to see them go back to that first 4 to 5 game stretch that they played in the first set. Like right here, they've almost got to just completely put the brakes on these points when they're at the net. And it's the fourth lob that Mitch has missed long, I think. Gotta get that thing
exactly,
calibrated.
almost like lull them into a little bit of a false sense of security, slow the game down a little bit. I love what Burke is doing here, talking to Lambo, slowing things down a little bit. This is I think this is the way they can get back into things.
Yeah, and I think this is a crucial game for Lambeau and Burka to really kind of establish. It's not about the lead, but it's more about the flow.
Exactly. Just set the tone that, hey, we lost the first set. We're not going anywhere here. We're ready to dig in, and you're going to have to work for it to and earn this set.
And you notice how Andrew Ong now is starting to hit that little roll drive off the back screen with the one-hander a little bit, with a little more pace on it. You know,
he hides that so well too.
So hard to read.
It's one of those things that I'm watching. I'm watching him hit this, and as he's going to the ball, even on the replay, it just looks like he's lining up for a lob, and then he snaps that one last second as it starts dipping a little bit below the shoulder level. So it's it's tough because as a net player there, you're already starting to lean back on your heels. You're anticipating the lob, and then he snaps this thing out. And, it's not even just this, like we were talking about earlier, a probing shot. That thing is coming in with a little bit of pace, too. So if you're off the net a little bit, it just makes it very tricky. And I think that's where we saw those guys get those last 2 points.
Yeah. And, I mean, if I'm defending that shot or if I'm coaching Lambropoulos and Burka, it's almost like, all right, let's expect the drive and defend the drive and worry about the lob secondary. But this is slippery slope right here. Right now is we see a little frustration from Burka and Lambeau in the end of the last game. And if you get Andrew and Mitch really feeling it, it could be a quick end. Oh, I love it. Mitch has been working on that shot over the last couple months, and it's a nasty cutter.
I know, Mike, we talk about the the team that lost the first set coming out and regrouping and establishing that they're willing to stay out there. On the flip side, when you're that team that's got some momentum, you sneak that early game out. It's you want to keep your foot on the gas pedal here. You do want to play fast and see if you can capitalize on some of that momentum. It's such a sport that's driven on momentum here, especially at this level too. The swings can be pretty quick. So if you got the momentum in your favor, just keep pressing and see how far you could ride it. Like a nice little run in blackjack there. Keep pressing. So I hear.
Yeah, I've read books. But again, everything is calculated as well. I mean, even Mitch's
look at these
miss
themes
there.
that we're just flowing through here too.
Yeah,
just flowing themes throughout the entire stream here.
This is not just about platform tennis. I mean, we can talk about life. Life lessons, blackjack. I mean, making the right decisions. Look back at the crowd. Love that drive. How fantastic
Set up
was
by that nice,
It was
nice Granger forehand, and then
set
put
it
a
up
pong for
yeah.
a nice forehand there as well.
And you notice that it wasn't the pace of that drive from Andrew Ong. It was the location and how he was up on the service line. And chicken wing Peter Burka there, it's one of the best volleyers in the game in the last 6-7 years, and he really struggled with it. See, driving is like real estate, location and timing. I don't know if everybody heard that. Burka calling out the blitz. A good partner should. Good spin from Lambeau.
Just constantly see it too, like Andrew and Mitch just looking to move forward a little bit too. Even if they're not getting that look, it's like we were saying earlier, it puts a little bit of pressure on the team that's hitting overhead. It puts a little bit of doubt in their mind. Are they going to be coming forward this time? And it makes you want to be a little bit more perfect with the shots you're executing at the net. So it's that's something that again, you might not get the ball you're looking for. You might not see it on that exact opportunity, but it puts a little pressure there. Mike, let's talk about something too. You're hosting Team Nationals this year, right? Over
yeah,
at Exmoor.
Yeah, we have been. Thanks for bringing that up. We've been the kind of the host site for every Team National over the last since pre-COVID. So it started, I think, in 2019 that we kind of came up with that idea, but now it's turned into the biggest tournament of the year. We've already got 38 women's teams signed up. This year we're the host site for the Chicago, I have to say. It's not just Exmoor, but we're the Exmoor is the host location. And we have 38 teams of 6 to 8 women already signed up, and we're at we're looking at capacity at about 55 teams. And the men are out in New Jersey. I think Canoebrook might be the host site this year. I'm not sure, but
I think it's Drew's place, right?
Yeah.
Usually that's where it is.
Yeah, new this year. It moved, but it's it's a great event. It's a team event. You get 6 to 8 of your closest or best buddies that can play the game within your PTI level of about 15 point range. And we have 3 guaranteed matches on Saturday. Good solid party at the Oak House, and then at least 1 match on Sunday morning. But we've already locked in, I think we've got 40 courts locked in for the weekend. So it's a big, solid. It's a great tournament. The men are out in New Jersey, but it's go to the APTA website to sign up. See, I like this right here where we've got Granger. I wish they'd stay. I really do think that sometimes when you get switched in the backcourt, it gives them a slightly different look. Although,
Great shot by Petey.
can't beat a Nick. Oh, 2 Nicks in a row.
2 in a
Living
row.
right.
I was going to say that was a good time. Really solid game from Burka and Lambo right there to stay in touch with this set and not let it get away.
Now, Matt, as the managing partner of Viking Athletics, what you got any new and upcoming plans for the fall? Any new products or anything that we should kind of be looking for?
Yeah, no. So we historically we've always done a new lineup every 2 years. Every single year, it's always it's a little bit difficult to innovate and find something new because you want to make sure you have the right research development and you're coming out with something that you stand behind rather than simply a marketing gimmick. We'll say here. So we're really excited about next year. We've got completely new lineup of paddles coming out with different core densities, for any player. We've played around with, with some holes and some different patterns on hulls as well. So, we're super excited about that combination where, the density, the different patterns that we're coming up with this year, to release next fall, and obviously new color schemes as well. So this is probably one of the biggest changes we've had as a company in the last decade. We're also renaming a lot of our paddles here as well. Historically, Vikings paddles have been, the Reignite Light, the Ozone and the Oz, which, we felt, let's really embrace this, I guess, Nordic name, the Viking culture in some way. So we're coming out with the shield, the sword, the axe, some historical Viking weapons that, we can build, more of a brand behind here. So there's definitely going to be a lot of changes where I think, for the last year and a half, we haven't necessarily come out with anything new. And then, we'll have some exciting limited editions that come out next year. We've been working on, striking that right balance on a ball as well between durability, playability. That's always, a fine line to walk as a ball manufacturer. And, we're coming out with a new one as well next year. So I'm super, super excited for the 24-25 season. And, you should see some pretty cool stuff coming out from us next year.
That's good. And now, have you guys you ventured into the pickleball venue too, right? I mean,
we did. It's kind of funny. Viking was making pickleball paddles for a while, and then I'd say, when did pickleball become popular? Like really, really popular? I'd say 4 or 5 years ago. Something along those lines. The previous ownership had decided to stop making pickleball paddles about 5 years ago. So, we were making them for a while, had stopped. Then it all of a sudden became extremely popular. We had all the capabilities. We got some great guys on board with us to help with the research and development. And then, last really, I'd say spring, we came to market with a couple of different paddles. So we kept that same thing, Shield and Axe name going. This is going to be, really our first season that we're back as, with me being one of the owners and managing partners here that, we're really excited to help sell and distribute our product across the market. So that's something, and I'll give a little full teaser here that very few people know unless you're listening to the stream. We're actually getting into the padel space as well. So we've got a couple of those paddles ready to go.
Oh, that's I think that's the next great racket sport in the U.S. is padel. What a fun game that is. Very dynamic.
I know. I remember playing it probably 2 years ago down at Vanderburg. I think it was like Steven Vanderburg, SVB, down here in the Tampa area. And, I played with actually a couple of, paddle players, Alex Kittard, Nico Kittard as well. And we had an absolute blast playing padel. I know Rudy just opened up his facility. What was it, last year in Mundelein? That's got to be getting a lot of traction in the Chicagoland area as well with both paddle players, pickleball players, tennis players, everybody, right?
Yeah, you'll see a big boost. It's Padel Club in Mundelein, which is northwest suburb. You'll see it. It's amazing. I was just talking to a couple of the guys at the spring league when the paddle season is over in mid-March. It's fantastic to see all the diehard platform players that come back out to play. But it's I know this is a platform tennis live stream, but tide lifts all boats, and racket sports is at any sport, in my opinion. Pickleball, platform tennis, squash, padel is good for all.
Oh yeah, absolutely. It's the racket skills, like that's what you look at. You're watching paddle right now, and you think of padel, you think of pickleball, like all of these different racket skills. You're developing skills that are going to be helpful in the other sports, whether it's touch shots, whether it's learning to play the screens a little bit, whether it's taking some balls off the short hops and stuff like that. It's applicable across all different racket sports. And I know paddle is being played more year round now. There's spring leagues, there's summer leagues. I remember when Compton was up in Chicago there, he was always organizing a big group of guys that were going to go out and play paddle at night too. So, it's that cross training within the racket sport space almost that, a lot of these guys are gonna go and make that switch over. So it's awesome. Having multiple racket sports that you can go, build different tools and weapons that you can use on the paddle court. Having, like we were talking about with Viking, having different, products out there. And, I always say it's great having so many different brands in the space as well, because, it pushes each manufacturer to be better and better and innovate and constantly come up with great products. So, it's all great for the sport. Different racket sports, different manufacturers. It's great all around.
Couldn't agree more. Here's a trend that I've noticed, as kind of a retailer and a seller and a pro. Somebody came in the other day and he's like, Mike, I haven't replaced my paddle since I think it was 2015. And he's like, what can I replace it with? And it was, I think, 185 grams. Would that be the weighting that's right? And I'm like, well, or 285. I don't know what it was, but it was way on the high end of the spectrum. And I'm like, well, first and foremost, they're not making anything close to that now. So we got to get used to a lighter and better paddle. But it's just kind of how the game has swung to lighter, kind of, I think, less, the core density is not quite as stiff. Hopefully a little more user-friendly, so we don't always have to call our friends at Illinois Bone and Joint.
Yeah, it's you're completely right. We've seen a trend, as a business of a shift to I would say our softer core paddles, that we've aptly named Prodigy and Light in the past. It'll be a new name next year, but that has been the trend is more softer cores, where I think historically, like you were saying, somebody coming in, they had these paddles that were war clubs, and you wanted the pop, you wanted the stability, and I know Mitch out there, obviously a guy who's using a Viking paddle, he plays with a very heavy paddle, and it's something that he's always liked, but the trend has definitely been to the softer cores and the lighter paddles, where you feel like you can do a little bit more and shape shots and absorb it. It's always a trade-off. You get the softer cores, you get something that's going to absorb pace a little bit better, but what do you lose? You lose a little of the pop, so you got to generate that yourself. So that's something where I've always felt that as a company and a manufacturer, obviously I'm slightly biased, we want to have different strokes for different folks, where somebody that's coming in looking for that pace will have something for them, and somebody that wants something softer that might be a little easier on the body, we'll make something a little softer too.
Makes total sense. Boy, you just saw that last point Alex put on a volley clinic. But since our discussion here,
I was going to say things have slipped away a little bit here.
The momentum train is rolling, and I think we need. I don't want to say it's on life support, but this is a must-win game, both for the score and the momentum here. Boy, that's pretty obvious. Captain Obvious here. It's 5-1.
I was going to say, you can't sneak anything past you, Mikey.
Mama didn't raise no fool. But you just see how Ong and Granger are kind of almost like the fueling and feeding off this fire of momentum and taking on a little bit more risk, thumping big forehands. See, that's the move that is going to make Granger a great player, and I think that's the third let court winner in the last 3 games that Ong and Granger have hit. You see both Peter and Alex kind of shrug their shoulders.
I was going to say, to your point there with the momentum, I think that was probably 4 or 5 straight straight drives from Granger and Ong on that point. That's when you know you're getting that heat check feel almost.
Good ball. A little deceleration from Alex. If I were coaching him, I'd tell him he's got to be 100% committed to that. This takes us to match point. See Peter just dialing in that overhead. And you notice the pace here. This is the pace they started the match with, yet they got away from that pace, and part of it was due to, Granger and Ong, but they had the right game plan, yet the execution of the plan has been failed here in the last few minutes, and there we have it. Game, set, and match. Mitch Granger, Andrew Ong, 6-3, 6-1 over Peter Burka and Mr. Lamperopoulos. Matt Wurzel with Viking Athletics. Good close friend of mine. I want to thank you for your time. And for the CPTC
Absolutely. No,
crew.
this was an absolute blast, and happy to be a part of it. And like we said, we hope this is year 2 of a many-year partnership moving forward to support the great players across Chicagoland and help grow and expand the sport across Chicago.
Well, yeah, we thank you for the support of the game, and thank you for your time. I'd like to thank IBGAI.
Looking forward to seeing you on the golf course in a couple short months here.
Oh man, I can't wait. As much as I love this platform tennis season, got to hit the green short grass. But thank you all, and Matt, we will hopefully have another number of years with Viking in the support of the CPTC live stream and the Legends Tour. And thank you, sir, and thanks to this crew here from the Glenview Club. We're out.
From the heart of Chicago up to the North Shore and stretching from the northwest suburbs down to Kankakee. From urgent in-office care to virtual in-home visits, we're making orthopedic care available wherever and however you need it. Because while we're adapting our lives to keep each other safe, we know that new injuries will happen and old injuries will still linger. And IBJI is here to help.
Let's go. Give the people what they want.
All right, so we are live, so just want to announce what's going on.
Well, we're pulling a big, we're giving the people what they wanted here. We are back for a third set. We have Tom Moore and Knollwood's finest, Brad Smith, a.k.a. the Rattlesnake, are playing against Ben Williams, and I believe it's Paul Rose. They are gracious enough to move on to our live stream court, and we're anxious to see this third set.
Let's say Legends League this year. Are they going full third set? Or are they going?
Yeah, we're going full
Mike?
third. Are you ready for this, Matt? I mean,
I am.
It's like
ready.
The gift that just keeps on giving, as far as I'm concerned.
Just when you thought they were out, they pulled me right back in.
Leo was probably in need of a bottle or something, and but no, sir.
I mean, Leo's been asleep for about an hour and a half. The question is, if I keep commentating, will my wife have divorce papers waiting for me?
Well, it's for the love of the game.
How old is Leo? This is Sean, by the way. I just wanted to just jump in here because Mike is Mike's just taking a break for one second. How old is Leo?
If anyone
Matt?
can get in on this.
I know. Well, I have children.
Yeah, so I've got, Leo's 10 months old. Coming on 11 months here soon. So it's.
You're starting to get sleep, are you? Now, Matt, is that what's going on? Finally.
I am getting sleep. I gotta say, he's been a great kid, and he started sleeping through the nights pretty early on. So. I'm not allowed to complain from some of the stuff that I've heard from other couples.
Well, I could tell you stories, Matt, but I'm not going to because it'll bore everybody. right now we're just in the middle of the second point. Have you played all four of these guys as well, Matt? Out of curiosity.
Oh, I am very familiar with all their work. Me and I taught a little bit with Brad. Tom Moore, we've had a few battles with.
Sure.
Paul Rose, I've seen that backhand come at me more than I want to admit to. He's lit up a few of those, and Ben Williams, obviously just an unbelievable competitor too. So we've had some great matches back in the day as well.
No, it's awesome. I was going to say this, and as we bring Coach Rowley back in, I'm just saying this is such a cool format for us in the Chicagoland area. I was saying it on another live stream. I was going to call it a broadcast, Cal. I know that's an old school term, but I'm old school, so sorry. But I was going to say,
Sean, I'm with you there. I was leaning to broadcast too.
Thank you.
Me, you, and Raleigh are going to go broadcast, and we'll let Cal go live.
Yeah, what do you think it should be?
No, well, here's the thing. I don't have a problem with broadcast. Sean likes to say telecast.
I can say that
and
too.
And telly has like television. That one I don't agree with.
It is
Broadcast
transporting
is fine.
a signal, though, Cal.
Broadcast is fine.
All right,
I like
the debate.
Where was I going with that? Well, anyway, what I was gonna say, Matt, is that it's like having an all-star game here in Chicago, on a weekly basis here. Because, all of these guys are national standouts anyway. Most of them, if not all of them, are playing national events. Because, we travel to stream these. Notice I said stream, Cal, just so you leave me alone. On a regular basis all around the Midwest. And basically you see a lot of these guys, if not all of them, here and there anyway. So I just think it's an awesome format, and I congratulate you guys for coming up with this.
Yeah, no, I think what's cool about this is, Sean, what you were referencing there. These guys are all national standouts, and obviously have played against each other a ton, and it's cool to see them mix and mingle and play with different partners, every single week in a team atmosphere. Because, those team events are always a blast. Mike was talking about team nationals earlier on.
Yeah.
We think about President's Cup that's associated with, Nationals weekend. I think that might have been renamed too, but I'm still going to go with President's Cup. And then, you think of the Ryder Cup in golf, all these guys that are absolutely, exceptional players, exceptional athletes. It's
exactly.
They love playing these team formats because they get to play with people who are new.
Sure.
They get to play some different formats. I know they've had something, a little bit different each week in each club that they've gone to. So it's a great concept here.
At this point, by the way.
Yeah, double cutter. Double back to back.
You don't see that very often.
He said, I'll see your cutter. It's interesting to see Brad Smith, a.k.a. the Rattlesnake, playing with he's got the old school, like 2016 Ozone there from Viking Athletics.
I was going to say, I would like to hope that's 2016. That might be 2008. He's really turning out. But Brad's does something wild. I think he gets the grit off of his paddles. He's a guy who just, he's the baseball player playing without batting gloves.
Well, and
put it that way.
Some players will say it's the sharpness of the holes that creates the spin. Others will say it's the grit.
I'm gonna say it's Brad.
Wow.
I've played some way. Oh, geez, that's greasy. I've played against him too many times. He could snap off spin. I think no matter what you put in his hand, he's going to do something special.
You know, in the level of volleys from Ben Williams. Ben's a pro out in the Hinsdale area. He's got some of the best hands, and he will just dare you to drive the ball. And, you know, I heard you say, Matt, you know, you've had a number of battles. And I mean, there's someone I struggled to play against all the time. And one of the biggest things was, you know, like you said, players will talk about and analyze and strategize. I was always like, well, how do you beat that guy? And I think it might have been Paget Neve, the great pro from Skokie. He said, every time that I think I should drive the ball to Ben, I don't, and I lob it. And then the next time I don't, I lob it. And because you're just playing into his hand if you are trying to drive that ball. And it's an interesting dynamic here. You see, you know, Tom Moore and Brad Smith, two of their biggest strengths are the drive. But they're clearly doing something right if they're in the middle of the third set against these two.
Yeah, I was going to say, you know, like we were talking about in the last match, there's, you know, those matchups and dynamics. This is definitely something where, you know, Brad's got an absolute weapon on the court with his forehand. You know, he can snap that off from anywhere. And like you said, Ben Williams has some of the best hands in paddle. So, you know, he's going to be right on top of the net. You know, you're going strength at the net versus strength at the baseline. And, you know, we'll see which prevails here in the third set. And not to say that their two partners aren't too shabby with their own strengths either here. Darwin Rose playing Paul Rose. You know, he's got these interesting cut overheads and unbelievable backhand. So, you know, there's not going to be a lot of spots to hide on this court. I think we're going to see, you know, a lot more action here, some quicker points. You know, definitely all four players probably looking to press the action a little bit more than you know, some of the patience we might have seen in the last match, and that's going to be a nice feature for this bonus paddle here.
Yeah. Boy, and I would have bet if you were to say, okay, we've got 3 matches going off, all starting at the same time. You're looking at Burka Granger, Ong, and Lambropoulos. And then the other 2 courts. Who's going to finish first? I would have lost $1,000. I would have bet the Burka match would have been the last one off, and yet they're the first one off. So kudos to Granger and Ong there. They took that in a decisive fashion.
I was going to say, I remember you briefly, you know, you announced the third match that, you know, we haven't gotten to see on the stream yet here, but I would have also been a loser on that one, thinking this might have been the match that finishes first, you know, just given how fast some of these players like to play and the amount of offense just everywhere on this court right now. But, you know, I guess, you know, both sides, each side got a set here, so you know, that definitely drags out the matches a little bit.
Yeah, and McKnight, Wotering, and Steinman and Kreitzler are still grinding it out on the court next to us here. Just happened to look over and watch Steinman. I mean, talk about a talent. That guy has got one of the biggest two-handers in the game. I believe he went to Stanford and played there. Just small school, small tennis school. You know, got some talent. Speaking of two-hander, Tom Moore, ripping. 2 and 2 for. How about that? Good lesson there, though. He got Ben Williams off the net. Safe to drive. Unleash the beast there, Mr. Moore.
Cute there. You were talking about his backhand, then he goes and lights one up. It's almost like this stream is on a 5-second delay.
I mean, who knew? Who knew? Might know what I'm talking about, too.
was gonna say, you think across all of these courts here, like you're saying, Tom Moore, unbelievable backhand, Paul Rose, great two-hander, and Robert Steinman, great two-hander as well. That's a shot, too. A couple shots ago there from Paul at the net. That two-handed backhand, he's not afraid to take that. This one, rolling it into the screens here. He'll use that instead of a push overhead like a lot of players will. He'll go and take that two-hander, roll that into the corner, and turn it almost into an offensive roller. Which is something that makes him very, very difficult to play against.
There's another two-hander. Williams didn't want to be left out there. It's interesting.
I was going to say, we just need one from Brad here, and then we'll hit the whole foursome here.
Could give it a lot
Brad
of credit.
might snap off, instead of the two-hander, he might snap off a one-hander a little.
That one-hander off the screen is. There was the rattlesnake. That's where he got that nickname, that snapper. You better never take a shot off when he's hitting that forehand.
Say, don't blink.
Tom Moore showing some range at the net.
Mike, what's your predictions for this third set here?
Nostradamus says that Williams and Rose in a tight, I'm going to say 7-5 in the third. Having said that, Paul Rose can't miss another one of those. Good dig. I believe we're at 3-2. Moore and Smith. Hold and serve there. And that strategy is serving both back. They removed the targeting for Paul Rose. I mean, he is one of the best in the game. Has been one of the best in the game. And if you give him a target to hit for, he will absolutely tattoo that ball. They've kind of removed his target. Great hands.
Didn't miss that one. Yeah, I was slightly worried.
Not how we usually work the partner blitz, but the blitz allowed him to get that lucky let cord roller off the top of the tape.
Switch here, switch. Go ahead.
I love to see the different strategies that the teams are working with. You can clearly see on short overheads they're trying to see if they can break Tom Moore down in that deuce side.
So say we've seen about 8 or 9 lobs in a row here, which we have not seen in the first 5 games of this third set. Oh, there we go. We broke the trend.
Great little dropper. And get that little chip drive, probing drive out of here, Brad.
We got your pulse right.
I think 3 of the 4 players out on the court. We had Paul was a standout at New Trier. Paul Rose was a standout at New Trier, went on to Purdue and played tennis there. Brad Smith played tennis at, he grew up in Cadillac, Michigan, and then went on to Ferris State University in Big Rapids. And I think that Ben Williams played at Western Illinois, if I'm not mistaken, but don't quote me on that. And I think Tom Moore is just great talent that has maximized his potential and on the paddle courts. But
he's an absolute competitor when you get out there with him too. One of the toughest competitors you'll see out there too. I'm always impressed with those guys and players that don't have that racket sports background that are able to get to this level and compete with some of the folks that grew up playing tennis, played at a very high level. Like you said, a couple of these guys out there played higher level college tennis, and it goes to show too that this sport, like you were saying earlier, it's a game of chess and not checkers. You can have some of the talent, but if you're willing to get out there, grind, and execute a great strategy, you can you can hang with some of the best.
Compete, yeah. There's a Brad forehand. And then, I mean, if you were to say, okay, give me the 2 shots.
That's a 1-2 combo.
Yes, give me the Brattlesnake 1-2 combo. It's slapping a big forehand and then a cut overhead. And that was the first,
that was fun to watch on replay, too.
First overhead cut winner I've seen into the side screen tonight.
I'm going to say a little bit of firepower coming from this foursome here.
Go ahead, you. One.
That might have been better served to throw that thing up as a lob. Wait for another shallower overhead to drive. Great cover on that down the line. Ben Williams knew that drive was coming. So again, they're not just playing for pride here tonight. This is the Legends final. It's a 3-court contest. They're playing for cash money from our great sponsor, Viking Athletics.
With the level of play and these guys that are out there tonight, I think all of them are probably playing for the pride and the joy of beating each other. But it's always nice to have a little sweetener to the pot.
We hear a little frustration from Mr. Moore. He said, "Wait." force that ball just
I think that's
a smidge.
2 in a row there, Mike, like you were saying there, where, maybe wait for the right ball there to drive and, just be a little bit more patient there.
Rattlesnake. Got Ben Williams, a little let cord.
All right, you definitely won the war, okay? It's a battle.
A little lucky let cord. Hit Mr. Rose right in the caboose. I believe this is 4-2 now for Warren Smith.
That's how that's how quick this momentum can change. You get one shot to the throat, a let court, and a fault, and all of a sudden, that set goes from a 3-all to a 4-2.
Love it, love it. Wow.
Oh, great hands.
Oh, man. Great hands. Nobody did anything wrong there. It was just, I'm going to put my fastball against your fastball and see who wins. Oh. And the amazing thing about this game is there are very few times that anybody's going to be surprised on the shot that their opponent hits. Like everybody in the stadium knew that drive from Moore was going to go to Williams, and fortunately, Williams knew it too.
Go, 540.
15-40.
Yeah.
All right, here's where you pull that old shot to the throat, let court, miss forehand combo, and you're right back in the game again.
See, right there, we saw 2 volleys from Moore, where I'd almost say it's a vanity volley instead of a take your medicine, let the ball go through, and reset your position at the baseline. And it's funny to notice, too, that they're going both back when Brad is serving to Paul Rose, yet when Moore was serving to Rose, they went traditional lineup. And I would argue between the two, the Brad Smith serve is every bit as good as Tom Moore's serve. No negative on Tom's serve, but I mean, what's good for the goose is good for the gander. Why wouldn't you play them both back anytime you serve to Rose? Good drive. Oh, great volleys. There's that drive and partner blitz off the return. Wow.
A great move, great move.
He says, I'll see your blitz and raise you one. Don't know if you saw the sign from Paul Rose telling Ben Williams where to serve.
That's that shot that Paul hits all the time that is so tough to play against. It's these overheads that a lot of guys are hitting, reset overheads through the middle, everything. Oh, look at that shot. There's a little razzle-dazzle. But it's Paul's hitting these reset shots through the middle that they just have so much spin that, it's difficult to play against those shots.
Yeah, that hard cutter, and what makes it difficult, too, is the ball's coming in low, staying low, but then from the same look, and that's something he's improved in the last 3 years, he used to have a tell where he'd drop his elbow when he went to the short cutter, but now from the same look, he can slash it deep, but then he can also kind of cut the legs underneath it. All right, 4-all.
Gonna say we always talk about this as being a game of momentum. There, we 4-2 to 4-all in just a couple minutes here.
A little different look. They're not going up. They went one back. So you see the range, too, of Ben Williams. He not only can cut across and protect that, just volley it back, but we've seen him slide over on that drive and drop it. Oh, he got the seam.
That's a great spot for a seam.
Great spot, great time. 15-all.
Such a sitter.
Hear the frustration from Ben Williams and missing that one. Oh, couldn't double let court him on that one.
Good boy, guys. Good ball. Couldn't do anything with it.
Good cover there from, oh, rattlesnake. And then they, sorry, not
the
sorry.
sincere apology afterwards.
Do you think, are you saying that Lacton, yeah, you know what I meant.
Yeah, you were going to get there eventually. Keep swinging. Give you a mulligan.
The insincere apology.
Now the question is, are we going to see a little retaliation shot?
There could be.
That's an old partnership too, isn't that, Mike?
Yes.
Williams and Smith. I think they played together for a couple seasons. Now that's a dangerous team to play against with Brad's offense, Ben's hands.
You there?
See that cut overhead that just is giving all kinds of problems.
You can't. Okay.
Got a lot of David Bukowski texting in there. That was a nice little hard overhead. Boy, I love that overhead. It was a little bit of a bait ball, kind of, as you had said
I was
earlier.
say a couple points there too at 5-4 were a little donation game instead of making them work for it. And like you said, the little bait ball from Rose there.
Love 15.
Yeah.
Great volley.
Great volley.
You know, Matt, a phrase that I'll use on how we defend the blitz, and this is, you know, you look at a blitz as almost as someone being a bully, where they're always kind of pressing and pushing, and how you beat a bully in those situations is you got to punch him in the mouth. You got to volley the ball through when you have position in a ball above net level. You got to volley the ball at the blitzer. You saw Tom Moore in the previous point make that play.
And something too, Mike, too, even if you go after it, if you look to go and stick it at the blitzer, even if you miss the volley, you're sending a message. It puts a little bit of doubt in the blitzer's mind, moving forward. Like, if they're right in the right spot, they're there. Am I going to do this? Am I going to make the same play again, too?
I believe that was wide from Tom Moore. Oh, 30-40, one break point saved. Going both players back here. Oh, that's a nice fake.
Go up. Me. Yep, you got it.
Oh, that's the loneliest sound in the game right there. That snap drive down the line that hits the leg cord. Doink! It's a tough one. Some of my best shots have been hit there.
While we're on it, Mikey, what's the Super Bowl predictions this weekend?
Well, I'm going to stick first with the prediction of a 7-5 here for Rose and Williams. I think that might have been what I called.
You did.
But
we'll
take it one step at a time. This is the Legends, the Super Bowl of the Legends. So we'll get through that one, and I'll let you predict the NFL. I mean, I wouldn't go. Vegas is not. If I make a prediction, I don't move the needle one way or the other in the NFL. See the set being tipped on, not great. I mean, we've had a lot of great shots, but kind of some of the, what we'd say, unforced errors. Ooh, that's a no-go zone. Tom Moore.
Nice drive from Tom there.
Waiting for him to hit it there.
That's one here.
30-15, Williams and Rose.
Oh, did he make that one?
Hold on, because of principle.
Oh, game, set, and match. Boy, that was a nice little bonus action. And, you know, if I check my math, Ong and Granger won in straight sets. Paul and Ben won in 3. That may put this Legends Super Bowl finals to bed. So from the bonus coverage, the CPTC, that may be a wrap there, Matty Ice. What do you think?
All right. Now we can officially wrap it. We've gotten the main match, we've gotten the bonus coverage match, so I think there's some celebrations and off to the champagne or beer showers for the winning team.
Yes, and thanks to Viking, Illinois Bone and Joint, for their sponsorship.
And Wintrust.
Because without it all, you know, without the money,
Not your bank.
we can't make it work. So thank you all, and we will definitely be back next year for season number 2 of the Legends.
Yeah.
Thank you all from the Glenview Club, and Rest up, start training now. Preseason is now. Matt, take care.
Not your bank's top priority? Here at Wintrust, we take a different approach to banking. No hidden fees or runarounds, but a true banking partner focused on your unique financial goals. Whether you're opening your first account, found your dream home, planning for the future, or starting a business, we have the financial solutions to get you there. Stop settling and start experiencing a better way.